TriBeCa is a neighborhood in New York that takes its name from the world-famous film festival of the same name. And today, we're back in TriBeCa so we can show you around, cool things to see, great places to eat, and a lot of surprises. So make sure you finesse that like button. Stop number one today in TriBeCa is Takahachi Bakery, which is, as the name suggests, a Japanese bakery. They have two restaurant locations, one here in the neighborhood and one in East Village, but this is their bakery only location. So you know, we love starting that day with coffee, tea, and baked goods. We got some mochi, red bean, green tea, matcha-based desserts. The whole setup is kind of like tous les jours, where they have all the pastries in individual plastic baggies. That is a great combination of a French pastry with sesame seed and red bean. Excellent. Couldn't tell you what it was called off the top of my head. All I know is I would definitely eat this every day.
Good morning from Takahachi Bakery. Flurries of snow outside, so it's a bit of a cold day, but I got my honey yuzu tea. It's warming me up. It's kind of like a warm Arnold Palmer.
True.
I'm liking it. Got a bunch of green tea, mochi, red bean pastries. I'm gonna try this one that has kind of like a mix of all of those three things. I'm gonna take a petal for myself because it's shaped like a flower. The red bean paste in there, but the first thing I tasted was the sesame. That is probably one of the most unique pastries I've ever had. It's really cool because when you first bite into it, you taste the sesame seeds, and then I'm a big fan of red bean paste, so that was really forward to inside flaky layers of pastry. What a nice breakfast. I don't know if I should try this on camera. I feel like it's just gonna like puff all over the place. I'm not sure. I think it's supposed to be like a hybrid between mochi and bread. We'll see. Oh, definitely yes. So there's red bean paste in this too. Got the sprinkle of matcha powder on top. That's very unique. It's squishy because of the mochi.
It kind of looks like the Japanese Pillsbury Doughboy. That is very good. I love pastries like this that are sweet without being overboard sweet. And the chewiness from the mochi is a nice welcome addition in the morning. We have one more to try, and this is the matcha croissant. Kind of looks like a pan au chocolat, but with matcha. It's good. I was reading up on the description of this bakery and saw that they made a lot of matcha-based desserts, and I was like, we are there like swimwear. It's right here on Murray and Church Street. It's a perfect setup to explore TriBeCa today. After our pastries and coffee at Takahachi Bakery, we walked about a block over to see the Woolworth building. This is maybe TriBeCa's most recognizable landmark. Beautiful skyscraper that was once the tallest building in New York City. It was built for the Woolworth company, but I remember watching the documentary about a year or so ago how they converted this building into private residences. I just thought like, wow, it would be so dope to live in a building as beautiful as this. It definitely gives me vibes of the Tribune Tower in Chicago. Because I know that this is a private residential tower now, I knew we couldn't go inside, but we were just filming the front of the building, and I saw just beyond the revolving doors there's a sign that says, "Stop! No tourists allowed." I thought that was humorous. TriBeCa is actually a special neighborhood to me because it's the first neighborhood where I actually did a live walking tour, you know, back when I used to do live streaming on the channel. And the reason that we did it is because we were staying in the Walker Hotel TriBeCa. So I figured, well, this makes sense. I'll just get out of bed early and do a live stream and then go back. That was actually during a heat wave too. So I wanted to do the live stream early so that it wouldn't be super duper hot for me, who was sensitive to the heat. And I just remember looking on websites to research the important landmarks in the building. That's back when I was live streaming. And so I thought all the subscribers would be like, yeah, now you're live streaming in New York. This is gonna be so much fun. But we found that almost nobody was interested. And then the people that were on the live stream were just like dogging the city of New York. And I was just like, what's wrong with you guys? So it kind of opened up my eyes a little bit to like the audience that I had versus the audience that I wanted to acquire. Now we want an audience that wants to travel to New York, to Chicago, to London, to Paris, to Madrid, to Tokyo, cities all around the world without saying, well, I don't like that city because it's dirty and it's stinky. No, we don't. That's not the audience that we want. Like, we want people like us that like to travel, that appreciate all the unique cities for what they are. It is an extremely cold day in TriBeCa, so we had to duck into Philip Williams posters. They specialize in, yeah, you guessed it, they actually have a lot of French posters in there. Why? In Europe, they produced a lot of French posters because they could go to multiple countries besides France, like Switzerland, Belgium, Italy. We did a lot of browsing today because we're planning on getting a condo with really high ceilings, and we're gonna need posters to cover up all the walls. Oh, and the shot looks good?
Yeah.
Okay,
actually.
it looks TriBeCa-y?
Yep.
Okay, one thing that I want y'all to keep in mind when you watch our films, when we go to neighborhoods like TriBeCa, Williamsburg, West Loop, Chicago, is that we're really picky about the restaurants we go to, the attractions that we visit, because we want to be authentic with y'all. That's been the mission since the beginning. Yeah, restaurants and other places reach out to us a lot, but we're very, very selective with whom we work. So there have been restaurants that have contacted us. I took a look and I'm like, that really doesn't fit our vibe and I don't think it's something we're gonna like, and so we're not gonna put it on the channel. Same thing with attractions. Things have popped up in Chicago, new things to do, and we haven't done them. So when you see us go to like Color Factory, the Prince Experience, different museums around Chicago and New York City, best believe we're doing it because we love it and we're sharing that with Gusto Nation in our own authentic way. We're not part of some rinky-dink fly-by-night social media agency that's gonna float us a couple dollars or some free biscuits to visit every restaurant and museum and new thing to do all around town, because that's just not who we are. We wanna keep that authentic vibe that we've had since the beginning. But if y'all don't join our Patreon, we may be forced to sell our soul and join up with an agency. Cheval is just like me. Started out in Chicago, but then came to New York and got even better. And of course, you know, we had to go with the double cheeseburger and the farm egg that has little tiny onions and sharp American cheddar. Larissa went with the wedge salad today. It looks like one of the greatest wedge salads of all time. This space is so amazing. It's like an upscale American diner is the best way I can describe it. And we're just gonna get into this burger. They also have a fried bologna sandwich. We could totally do another version of our Chicago in New York City video and visit our Cheval and the TriBeCa bean. Here we go. Our Cheval makes one of my favorite burgers on the planet. This is just so, so good, and I'm glad we're gonna share it, get into some of that wedge salad as well.
I ordered the wedge salad because well, it's lunchtime and I wasn't trying to stuff my belly with everything just super heavy. So I ordered the wedge salad, and it looks like they have pieces of their famous thick cut caramelized bacon on it, which that got me pretty hyped. I was actually expecting actual wedges of salad because that's traditionally how this is served, but I'm very glad that it's not that way because it's a lot easier to eat.
Now that we're done with our burger and wedge salad, we got an order of fries and a couple of glasses of the Guava Gose. It's obviously a tart wheat beer. It has fresh guava, lemon, pink salt, and coriander. Cheers. Cheval is bringing all the vibes today. Why are there spoons if they didn't bring sugar?
I don't know what the point of that is.
Oh, I guess you could still stir it to
Why?
keep it consistent.
All right, well, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to lift it up.
Okay. We are capping off our amazing experience at Cheval with a couple of shots of Sawada coffee. Cheers. It's good.
You had MX Temple, you had
I love everything about Cheval, the service, the ambiance, and of course the food. And it's a good thing that some of the haters went around to tell Cheval, well, there's already so many restaurants in New York City, you can't go there. TriBeCa is also home to Cortlandt Alley. Yeah, you heard me correctly, an alley in Manhattan. And you see street art and stickers, and even Cheval's entrance is in the alley. One of the things that we're trying to achieve on the channel is we're not just trying to throw hundreds and hundreds of restaurant recommendations and things to do for date night and celebrating your birthday and stuff like that. You could hop on TikTok or any other short form platform, and within a minute, you could get 300 recommendations. That's not what we're about here. We're trying to do like the Conan O'Brien, Action Bronson thing, where we, have fun, tell jokes, relate stories as we go and travel around to different cities like New York, Chicago, London, try different amazing foods, meet the owners of these places. I'm not saying that I'm on the same level as Action Bronson and Conan. Obviously, I'm on a much higher plane than them, but you get the idea, right? We have made the pilgrimage to 368 Broadway here in TriBeCa, also known as Casey Neistat Studios. This is my Graceland. This is like taking a pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, except for YouTubers. Am I making that analogy clear? This is part of why we're here in New York City, because I'm a YouTuber, and you never know. I might run into Casey Neistat on his electric skateboard, and then next thing you know, he makes a cameo on the channel. I make a cameo on his. 1 million subs is after that. Then I get to meet the mayor and go all overseas to make YouTube videos while representing the city of Chicago. You get me, people? That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Just think about all the likes and subscribes and the editing that's happened, all the YouTube videos that have been created in this spot. I could feel that energy. I could feel the power. TriBeCa is an acronym that stands for Triangle Below Canal. It's not exactly a triangle, but it also has a similar story to many other neighborhoods like this, where it was once industrial, zoned for commercial, then a bunch of artists started moving in, making the neighborhood cool and a hip spot. That made it expensive, pricey, and then those artists could no longer afford to live here. We see these same type of stories popping up in Soho, River North, Williamsburg, which is kind of why we stopped telling these stories, because we got to a point where we're like, wait a second, didn't we already tell this story when we did that neighborhood? And it's time to talk about something else on the channel. Otherwise, people are gonna get bored and forget about us. We still like to visit these areas, obviously, because there's a reason why they're popular. There's a reason why they're pricey. We just didn't wanna keep rehashing the same words over and over again. Before I had the name TriBeCa, It had names like Washington Market and Lower West Side, but now those names are no longer in use, aka obsolete. New York City now has its own bean. And since this got revealed a few weeks ago, everybody has been asking me, Louis, what do you think about the New York bean? Give us your hot takes on the bean that's in TriBeCa in New York City. All right, fine. I'm here just for y'all so I can give you my take. Now we're gonna go into a new segment on the channel.
Which bean is better?
The Millennium Park bean in Chicago was unveiled in 2004. The New York City bean was unveiled just a few weeks ago in 2023. Both were done by British Indian sculptor Anish Kapoor. They're both very shiny and reflective. They each attract tourists from all around the world. The bean in Chicago reflects the historic buildings on Michigan Avenue, while the bean here in New York reflects the cast iron buildings here in TriBeCa. The bean in Chicago is the centerpiece of Millennium Park, so there are other things to see and do. Well, here it's TriBeCa, everything's expensive, even a cup of coffee. The bean in Chicago actually looks like a bean, but it's officially named the Cloud Gate. The official name of this one, I don't know, but it looks like a squeezed piece of mochi underneath the Jenga building. It's at 56 Leonard, and if I had to give you my favorite, of course I'm gonna go with the Chicago bean. Come on now. This has been another edition of
Which bean is better?
On the next edition, we'll be comparing black beans to pinto beans. Another landmark in TriBeCa is the 1903 Beaux-Arts Firehouse, which famously starred in the 1984 feature film Ghostbusters, which combined elements of comedy with sci-fi, and it was a very formative film for yours truly. In fact, the soundtrack was pretty important because we used to watch it a lot when we were kids, and I remember the Ghostbusters theme song, and I was like, this is a cool style of music. And that kind of what got me into hip hop, even though it's not really a rap song. It was kind of my introduction into like, this is actually sounding really good to my ears. Also, I have a fun fact for y'all. If you look at the end scene in Ghostbusters, my uncle actually is part of the crowd. So watch that movie again and look for a dude that kind of looks like me. Obviously, this is a must-see landmark for any fan of the cinema or comedy in general, or, you know, you just like cool stuff. Yeah. You like the shot? Now, of course, TriBeCa is a small neighborhood, but like most of the areas of downtown Manhattan, it is very dense, very tall buildings, good use of space, and yeah, you do have parks like TriBeCa Park. Now, it's not the biggest green space that you've ever seen in your life, but it does remind us of those parks in London that are kind of wedged into little squares, triangles here and there, you know, so that people can have benches to sit down, enjoy a snack, maybe an Cheval burger or Sawada coffee. And now I'll do my dance. Expanding into New York City isn't just about business for us. The other day we got to go to Washington Square Park for a Boston Terrier meetup. We had so much fun, and actually we put that together as a bonus video for the channel and for the Patreon. Last time I spent a day in TriBeCa, it was in the midst of a heat wave. We were still dealing with COVID. Gotta be honest, it wasn't the most pleasant experience, even though I did have fun. But after spending another day in TriBeCa, I can confidently say that I'm really starting to love this neighborhood. There's so much character. intact architecture, lots of shopping, great restaurants, places to drink. We only really scratched the tip of the iceberg today, so we will be back in TriBeCa. We're now standing in front of one of the oldest houses in all of Manhattan. It is built in the Dutch colonial style, I think. It is from here that I must bid you adieu. So until next time, peace.